The Queen who sent out the message. We need workers to come to Britain and help out.
I am someone who is angry. I'm someone who is fed up of looking at the way this country treats people of colour, particularly immigrants. As we all know, and some of you here, like my mother, will remember, West Indians were refused homes to rent, they were refused employment, they were spat at, they were harassed. Their children were bullied at school and were told they were not good enough to become professionals.
I mean, it was different. His response wasn't what I expected. It certainly wasn't the black experience that you see or hear on the news. It was different.
When you arrived, Southampton, did England look like you imagined it to look like?
Well, it's strange, a big country, you just, you reach safe, but you're hoping that you'll be prosper then, in other words. That's all. But I didn't have no hard time at all getting a job.
Was it easy for lots of people, or did you just find
Not
it
for
easy?
everybody.
Not everybody?
No, not everybody.
I think the way you view life has a lot to do with how successful you integrate. You can come here and just look for opportunities, expect the best, come expecting that there's going to be jobs, that you're going to get work, that you're going to get shelter, and it just kind of can fall into place. And other times people can come saying, well, actually they don't want us here, people are racist and not very nice, and that can be your experience, because then you start actually experiencing more and more of that because you're looking for it. And some people might call it ignorance if you're not, but maybe there's something quite peaceful in just being able to just focus on what your end goal is, rather than being trapped by the things that can hold you back from what other people's experiences have been or what people say is happening. Just because somebody says it's happening, it doesn't mean it's actually your experience.
So you got yourself a job. What was it like finding somewhere to live? What was your experience of that?
Oh, getting somewhere to live. I stayed by my sister just a week.
Oh.
And I look up the board in our hybrid barn. A vacancy was going there. And I got the room.
Oh. And so was that...
£30 for it.
What did you get in your room for £30?
The bed, the kitchen, shed, and the stove, and on the stairs.
The stove is on the stairs?
Yes.
I guess I kind of thought that going to interview Grandad would be like, okay, I'm going to ask you these questions, he's going to answer them how I thought he was going to answer them, in terms of, obviously he came in the 60s, obviously he experienced racism, obviously he found it hard to get a job, obviously there was going to be some racial friction but talking to him and talking to you as well makes it interesting, because it makes you realise that not everyone has had that experience or will let that kind of negativity bring them down in their lives. It's interesting. So it's kind of changed the way this is going.
I was surprised. But then looking back at it, it's not that surprising, because when I thought he was going to start talking, I thought I was going to hear recount stories about, yes, they asked us to come here, but when we came here, they didn't really want us. That was not a narrative that came out of his mouth at all.
So was it, so you said that one, it was easy to get a job, and two, that it was easy to get somewhere to live.
Yeah, so I didn't...
Did other Caribbeans, do you think other Caribbeans found it very easy to get work and a place to live?
No.
What was their experience? What did you used to hear people say?
It's very hard, that's it.
What was so hard for Caribbeans to get somewhere to live, for example?
Because they've been walking so long, checking the rooms them on the paper board, on the shop board, at the door. And if you didn't see one there, you're going to see it. If it's a new one put up there, you would see it that it wasn't there yesterday or it wasn't there this morning.
Did you find it easy to be in Britain from the Caribbean, or did you find some things harder?
No. I didn't get accustomed to it, you know. And
very quickly.
it was easy, you know. I didn't have no. When the weekend come, like Saturday and Sunday, we don't really in the house, you know.
What would you do on a Saturday and Sunday then?
Well, we try to go around and meet friends, you know.
Did all the people from the Caribbean mix together?
Oh, yes.
Or did the Jamaicans stay together? And
they mix together, you know. Jamaicans, well, it isn't too nice on the boat because, you know, with their music, you know, once they get wrong, they want to have the whole time with it at least, you know. But they really hold on to the music, you know.
what, Jamaicans?
Yes.
I'd never grew up hearing my mum keep going on about like how she hasn't got this, or people haven't given her this, or what's not working too much. And so you don't get caught up in a sense of too much lack. But yet later on you start to realise that, oh my God, yeah, my mum had like 3 children that she was raising by herself at one point, and she was living off £13 a week. But when we were there, innit, we weren't actually aware of the fact that actually there was a restriction. We went on holiday every year. There were things that we did that you just were oblivious. And I think that's because you didn't moan about things. I never really experienced her talking about like lots of negatives too much. Like there may be stories that she said, but she didn't necessarily say them in a way of bitterness.
What was it like? Because sometimes people talked about no Irish, no coloureds, no dogs.
They didn't want you to get a job. You had to turn your back against and go looking at what the case may be.
Yeah.
They'll save it for somebody else.
And did they?
And it's the same with the rooms too. If the room is there, they know who they want to get it, you know.
And who didn't they want to get it?
Well, they go for their own people.
Yeah, the way that we see things is really interesting, because you could be somewhere surrounded by greyness, violence, and yet, depending on how you see it, you can actually just not even be aware.
Okay.
And 2 people could actually be in the same place at the same time but have 2 different experiences based on their view and the angle that they're looking at life from, whether they're quietly contemplating inwardly or looking out at the landscape and observing. It's that question as to whether or not some of the stories and our memories are actually real memories of what I've said, or were they memories from the media, from the discourse around, but not actually the experience memory.
Yeah.
Or was he being selective, or did he just forget those experiences? But equally, if you ask me the same questions, I wouldn't remember anything like that.